Hi guys, how's it going? I haven't saw you for a long time. It's been a couple weeks, I think, since I've posted a video. Um, I've been crocheting, actually. I've been crocheting quite a bit. Working on I finished a cardigan for, I think I made it for my daughter-in-law, but it might wind up being for my granddaughter because it might be a little small for my daughter-in-law. I'm not sure. But anyway, so I did a sweater for her that I made out of granny squares that I had made a long time ago and just kind of repurposed them into a sweater. And then I've been making bikinis. I've been crocheting bikinis. So that's been really fun. I can crank out a bikini top and bottom in about, I don't know, hour and a half, 2 hours. So that's been fun, and I have some more designs I want to work on. Anyway, so I've been doing that, but I wanted to talk to you guys about these watercolors. These are the Supervision watercolors. These were sent to me. I don't know if they come from... I know that they're made in China, and I think they're a Lightwish. I think they're a Lightwish product. Not really sure exactly, but so, and it was kind of funny that the marketing person reached out to me and asked if I wanted to try these because I've been wanting to get these, but I've kind of been waiting to see what Lindsay, Frugal Crafter Lindsay, had to say about them. And I don't think she's done a review on them yet, although she did show these in a video, I think back in January, asking, with a bunch of different things that she had that she wants to do reviews on and wanted people to, reply what items they wanted to see. And I did respond and said these, but she hasn't done it yet, so she's obviously not listening to me. But anyway, so I've been really hesitant to get these because on Amazon they're about $130 for the set of 48, and they're I think 8mm tubes. Yeah, I think they're 8ml tube. Yeah, 8ml. And for $130, even though, yeah, there's 48 colors, I don't know. I just thought, I just want to see what she thinks. But, so I got them, and I didn't have to pay for them. So that was great. So I could try them out myself. So the marketer that had reached out to me, I think I don't remember her first name. She said that she would offer a 40% off coupon to my viewers if they decide that they want to throw down on these. So I thought that was pretty fair. And since they didn't cost me anything, I think that's, that was great. And I agreed to do the review. But I want you guys to know that, just because I didn't have to pay for them doesn't mean that I'm, biased. Or I know people say that all the time when they do reviews on stuff that they got for free. But I just want you to know I'm a straight shooter, and I will definitely tell you what I like and what I don't like. So I've had them for probably about 6 weeks now, and I wanted to use them in a coloring book because, my opinion, I'm trying to gear this more towards the coloring community rather than the watercolor fine art community, just because that's kind of what I'm into lately, and that's more of what this channel is kind of geared towards. So I wanted to look at them in as far as how they would work in a coloring book, okay, and the color selection and that kind of thing. So being that these are a Chinese watercolor, there's a couple of things that I've noticed kind of just in general about watercolors that are made in Eastern countries. They have a tendency to use, I think, a little bit more filler in their watercolors, and they're definitely not afraid to add white to their color, their pigment mixes or whatever. And they just kind of have a different idea, I think, of what a nice selection of colors is, just different. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying it's just different. No, they're definitely not like Gansai watercolor or anything like that. They are definitely not. They definitely don't have a glue binder in them. But I don't know. I just wanted to throw that out there, that I think that the color selection is a little bit different than what you find in a more like Western set. So, I took the colors and filled some half pans. I filled them up just about halfway the first time, and I let them dry down. And this is why I say that I think there's a lot of binder in them, or a lot of water, a lot more water, I guess is what I mean, more than binder. But when they dried out, there was it was just like this little tiny little nugget of paint in the bottom of many of the pans. Not all of them, but a lot of them. I would say 70% of them were dried down. Filling the half pans halfway just gave me this little tiny little nugget. Okay, so then I filled them up again, but this time, the second time, I filled them, I would say 3/4 of the way, and I wound up with a lot of them kind of coming out like this. Like you can see this green where it's just cracked, and there was large voids in the paint after it dried down. So then I filled them all up again, and this time I filled them all the way, and I even used a toothpick, and I went in and I poked paint into the cracks, and trying to eliminate those big cracks. And so 3 times I've added paint to these pans, and I've still got, you can see I've got pretty good, like this one is like loose in here. So this is what I have after filling this pan. I'm going to say 2 times, because the first time I didn't fill it all the way. But so that was kind of disappointing, but what can you do? Anyway, just want to point out these 2 right here are not supervision. These are actually what's it called? Arteza. These are Arteza metallic gouache right here. And I think I have, this is gold, and then this one is copper. So I just added those just to make it even, and also so I'd have some metallic color in there. So this is the color, this is the colors, just on a very simple swatch, so that I can just basically identify them in the pan. And I'm going to say that I think it's kind of lacking in the greens. I think definitely lacking in the green department. As far as earth tones, I think they've got it covered pretty well. I think the reds are great. I would have liked a little bit more range in the yellows and oranges for my taste. They've got like these turquoise and teals and stuff are pretty good. Blues are nice. I think there's a good range in blues. But yeah, I just noticed that it's really, there's something missing in the greens for sure. So anyway, I just wanted to just quickly show you that. And I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and swatch these for you guys. And I'm going to swatch them from my dried down pans. Let me find my squirt bottle here. I'm going to just go ahead and wet them. And I'm going to wet them pretty good. Okay. That's what I normally do with all my watercolor. And when I get done with that, I'm going to show you guys a page that I've actually colored using this paint. And I was actually pretty happy with it. Like, I was really pretty happy with the colors. I think it's a great, I do think that it's a great mix for coloring books. I really do. I think it's a good selection of colors to use in a coloring book. And I don't have these labeled or anything. I'm just going to tell you the colors as I go through, because I just don't really do swatch sheets that I keep like in a file or any kind of a binder or anything like that. So this is the lemon yellow. Let me get the fur off of my brush. This is the lemon yellow. Do a little more. More fur. This is what happens when you have 3 cats and 2 of them have extremely long hair. Okay, and then this is the permanent yellow deep. And I have to say, yellows and oranges are probably my favorite colors, to be honest. So when I'm missing a variety of yellows and oranges, I'm always going to be disappointed. So this is the permanent orange. It's a nice orange, very much. I mean, I'm going to lay down they call this Apollo yellow. This next orange. They call it Apollo yellow. It's pretty close to the permanent orange. And I don't know why they call it a yellow. Like, I think they should have called that one a yellow and this one an orange if they were going to call either of them a yellow. Like, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, let me switch this brush. I need to use a different brush. Let's try this guy. Okay, and then this one, I really like this color. This is Shell Pink. And this is one of those colors that you definitely will find in the Eastern watercolors more often than in any Western sets, right? They might refer to it as like a Juan Brilliant or something like that in some sets. Like I know Holbein, they have a color similar to that they call it. I think it's their Juan Brilliant 2. It's a little bit more on the pink side. So this one is Vermilion, which I don't really think it's vermilion. I think it's more of a, I don't know, vermilion is more of an orangey kind of red. And that one's really not an orangey red. Okay, and then this one they call Toluidine Red. Toluidine Red. Spelled Toluidine. And this paper, by the way, is actually mixed media paper. I've run out of all my like cheap watercolor paper that I would normally swatch watercolors on, but this mixed media paper actually works pretty well. So this one is their Quinacridone Violet. And it is a pretty nice violet. It's definitely, I would call it, I think we could actually get away with calling it a magenta, actually. But this is their quinacridone magenta here, which is more purpley. So you know how you can actually substitute magenta, cyan, and like a lemon yellow for your primary colors. I think that this one is closer to a magenta than that one. So this one is what they're calling violet, and this is the magenta, but I think this one is more of a magenta. Anyway, sometimes there's, you know, some... I don't know. I don't think that translations in colors always come through from, you know, one language to another. But anyway, so this is the red Bordeaux, and it's actually a really, really pretty color. It really is a pretty color. It's a very bright, almost fuchsia pink, and it's more, I would say, a quinacridone violet. I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, from one manufacturer to another, you know, colors change. The actual color is different. So, so this is their Supervision Red, and it's a really, really nice, bright, bold red. I would compare it to like a pyrrole red almost. And then this one, they did pretty well in the red department, I would say, in this set. So this is their Crimson. Get a little more in there. This is their Crimson. And then here is the last red is magenta. So go figure there, right? The truest red, I think, in this set is probably this one, the Toluidine Red, and the Supervision Red. The rest of them are all more pinky reds. Okay. And then, let's see, next one is Violet Hue. Very nice, just purpley purple, right? Purple, purple, purple. And then this one is Lilac. So I'm pretty sure I haven't really done much color mixing with this set, but pretty sure if you took that violet and added white to it, you would definitely get that lilac color. And then we've got Sky Blue. And it is a very rich blue. It's a very rich blue. I actually used it on a page in one of my Hannah Carlson books. And whoops, what did I do? What did I do? I did something. I'm not the most professional swatcher on the planet, but... Oh, I was going with this cobalt turquoise, but I think it was polluted with some of that orange, so. So that's the cobalt turquoise. Make sure you guys can see this, okay? Ew. I should have checked that earlier. Okay, I think we're good. And then we've got the cobalt blue. Pretty typical cobalt blue. And this paper is not the best for checking to see or to know how any of these colors granulate. So I'm not going to really get into that. But let me grab another paper. So that paper is Fabriano mixed media paper, in case anybody's wondering. And I got this at Blick. So it's 150 sheets, and I think it's like less than $20. And it's great for printing. It goes through the printer really, really well. Just using my inkjet printer. Okay, where'd I leave off? Cobalt blue. Okay, now this is the ultramarine. Very nice ultramarine. And actually, I can see it granulating. You can see it kind of sinking down into the grooves of the paper a little bit. Okay, and then this one is what they're calling Blue Lake. And I know that laked colors, they're not, when it says lake, it's not referring to a lake, like as in a body of water. It's a process that the pigment goes through. I don't really understand it, but that's what it means whenever you see that. It's some kind of process that they put the pigment through. And then this is the phthalo blue. So you'll notice quite a similarity between the Blue Lake and the phthalo blue. Very, very, very similar. If I really get in there and try to get more paint, I can get the phthalo to deepen a little bit, but not much. Okay, so this one is called Lake Blue Source. Don't know what that means, but it is a gorgeous blue. It really is. Beautiful blue. Bluer than blue, right? It's rich, definitely richer even than the ultramarine. Okay, and then we've got navy blue. A little bit deeper, more of a denim type of blue. And then we start getting more into the teals, turquoise, those kinds of colors, the greeny blues. So this is the Prussian blue. Wanted to do a little bit larger swatches for you guys since I'm not really zoomed in anyways. Okay, and then this one is a turquoise pale. And I don't know why, but for some reason I love this color. It is so nice in a sky, and I'll show you. I used it in a sky in one of my coloring books, and it is just so pretty. It's just such a pretty color. And then this is dark cyan. So if you took this with that magenta and like a lemon yellow, you would have a really nice primary set, a nice mixing set. Okay, and then this one is turquoise blue, which is similar to the dark cyan, but it's a little bit more on the blue side. A little bit cooler. Okay, and then this is the deep cobalt turquoise. And I definitely, whoops, I've got a little bit of a bleed over here. If you added a little bit of weight to this, you're definitely going to get that turquoise pale. So, okay, where are we at? And then this is the phthalo green. So you're going to see where I really feel like this set is lacking in the green department, okay? Here we come into the greens. So that's the phthalo green. And I like this color, this permanent green yellow. Whoops. I got red in there. I accidentally scooped some red in there. Oops. Hold on. Hold the phone. Let's get rid of that. I'm trying not to pick up any of that brown, but I think you guys can see it pretty well. It is bright. It is like such a bright, bold color. I don't know what pigments they used in this. Hang on. Permanent green, yellow. PY12 and PG7. So yeah, it's definitely a yellow-green. PG7. Yeah, you can definitely see the yellow in it, right? Okay, and then we move on to Viridian. Which I just don't know. I don't know if I would call this a Viridian. Honestly, I think it's more of a sap green, but I don't know. But here is their version of sap green, which is very, very similar to the Viridian, right? It's a little bit warmer, but not much. A little bit, slightly. And then it jumps from sap green to olive green. There's nothing in between. So basically we've got, really it's just like 3 greens, maybe 4 if you count the phthalo green, but I mean for like foliage and leaves and flowers and that kind of stuff, phthalo green is not my first choice. So that means that you're going to wind up needing to mix your greens, which is fine, but I don't know. Like when I look at a watercolor set for coloring books, I just feel like a lot of times you're not really mixing colors that much. You want to pull directly from the palette, and I think that that's why there's so many watercolor sets out there where they have like 168 colors and stuff like that, you know, because they know that people are using these watercolors in coloring books, and that's what they're doing. They're just painting directly from the pan into their book. They're not, you know, adding paint to a palette and customizing and blending and mixing colors and then applying paint in the coloring book. They're pulling directly from the pre-made palette into the book, and maybe doing some blending in the book on the page or whatever. But I'm just saying that that I think is kind of what they're intending with those sets that have all the colors. Anyway, so this is raw umber, and it's nice. It's actually granulating pretty nice. I like that. And then we go into gold ochre. I need to give this another little spray. This is the gold ochre. Okay. Set this page aside. And then we've got burnt sienna. This is actually a pretty nice color. I like their burnt sienna. It's got some nice yellow undertone. And then we've got a burnt umber. Perfect tree bark color, right? And then they added a Mars orange and a Mars red, which I think is kind of cool. So here's a Mars orange, and it's very opaque. Kind of spread it out a little bit for you. Very opaque. And then here's the Mars red. I really like the Mars red too. It's really pretty. And then we've got English red. The English red, it almost feels like this color in one of the A Gallo sets called Notturno. It kind of reminds me of that a little bit. Anyway, and then this is Venetian red. Again, very opaque. Many of these, browns and earth tones are very, very opaque. And then this is the Van Dyke brown. It's got a red cast to it, very warm. Okay, and then, what did I say? Okay, English red. What did I do? Hold on, back up. Because this is like going one way and then this is going the opposite way. So I've got my gold ochre, right? I can't remember now. Can't remember. What did I say this was? English red, Venetian red, oh my god. Hold on. Okay, that's the English red, Venetian red, Mars brown. That's what this is. And this is actually is that the Mars brown? Yeah, okay. Sorry guys, I got a little confused there. And then this is the Van Dyke brown. No, I don't think I did the Mars brown. Because those are the same. Sorry, hold on. This is the Mars brown right here. It's more red. Maybe it is. I don't know. Anyway, this is the Mars brown for real. For real. Is that what this is? I can't tell. It's very, very similar to the Van Dyke brown. Just saying. It's definitely more red, though. That's the Van Dyke brown. This is the Mars brown. Okay? For sure. For shizzle. Okay. And then this is the Payne's Gray. It's a very green Payne's Gray, I think. You see that? It's definitely got a well, I guess with Payne's Gray, they're all different, but this one to me it feels more green. Okay, and then we've got Mars Black, which should be granulating. Mars Black is more I think it's more of a natural black, right? Like it's great for like rocks and for nature. Ivory Black is more, it's just darker. Let's just put it that way. It's dark. generally not granulating. But you can see that the Mars Black is definitely granulating. So this one, whichever one that is, I honestly think that's the Van Dyke Brown, and then the Mars Brown here. They're both granulating. This one is too, a little bit. So, and then there's a titanium dioxide white, which, you know, it's definitely, you can see it here in here. It's relatively opaque. It's about, I would say about 50% opaque. Actually looks pretty nice with that. Anyway, okay, so that's the colors, so you get an idea of what they look like, you know, in a larger swatch, larger than what I have in my, you know, pan. Let's see. Go like this. How's that? Look pretty good? You see them all? Pretty much. So it's a beautiful set, and they're beautiful paints. They're really nice colors, very bold, rich colors. I have nothing to say about the colors that are here. I just wish there was more green and a little bit more variety in the yellows and oranges, but, and they've definitely, you know, covered the reds, the blues, the teals, the earth tones, the browns. I think they've done a pretty good job there. It's just the greens. So, I mean, there's the yellow ochre, but anyway, that's just my thinking on that. So, I'll show you a page that I did using these paints. So, whoops, let me find it. Where is it? Where did it go? I had it open, and then I was gonna put a marker in it. Oh, I did put a marker in it. I just didn't see my marker. Anyway, so I had done this page already. I did the background with Neocolor 2s, and then, I don't know, just a mixture of different things on the flowers and stuff. I wasn't super excited about this page, but I didn't want this page to be like, you know, I wanted them to sort of work together. Okay, so I really pretty much only used these watercolors on this page. See, this is that, this is that turquoise pale up in here. And it just, I don't know, I just think it's so pretty for a blue. And then I use that cobalt turquoise. Use the turquoise pale and the cobalt turquoise. And I think I used the cobalt blue, and then also the dark cyan, and then probably the Van Dyke Brown down in the dirt. So yeah, I just used the paint. I didn't really even go over anything with pencil. I just want to see what I could accomplish just using these colors from the pan, as they come from the pan. I didn't even have a palette. The only thing that is not the Light Wish colors is this little thing right here that I accidentally smudged. And then, like, this stuff here is done with, I think, a paint pen or something. And oh, and then I used some of my, like, Calero or something, you know, metallic watercolors in different places too, but just little like highlights and stuff, you know. So, But yeah, I was pretty happy with the way that they worked together. I was able to find colors in the set that where I was able to actually, you know, pretty much match the colors that were over here. I mean, not 100%, but close enough, you know. Anyway, so that's the only project that I've done with these paints, but I'm happy with it, and I think I'm gonna do another one. I'm trying to finish this book. I want to finish this whole book. I was thinking about doing this spread. So I was gonna do this side with Neocolor 2s again, like I did the other one, and then do this one with the supervision again, and see how I can do it. And I'm thinking about trying to do it on camera, even though I'm really not the best at doing that, but it might be a 3-hour video, but I might do it anyway, you know, just for funsies. And but before I do that, I do plan to do, I have 2 videos that I want to do. Another one is, or one of the 2 is, I've had people want to see my watercolor collection, my collection of watercolors. So I'm going to try to do that. And then I also have, I picked these up recently, these 2 sets. The Artistro 48 color Gansai watercolors, and then this is a 12 color set of metallics by Artistro. I saw that Maya actually did a review. Somebody had sent her, I think it was like the autumn colors or something of these, the metallic ones. And I think there's a couple colors in that set that she did that are not in this set, but I think this was actually pretty nice. But I want to swatch it with you guys, and also this 48 color set. So I want to do that, and also my watercolor collection. And let me know if you guys want me to also do, I know Axic Fumbles, Annika is doing a series of all her art supplies, and so I'm just wondering, I was thinking it would be fun to show you guys not just all my watercolors, but also I'd like to show you guys my water activated media. So like, you know, all my pencils and crayons and all that kind of stuff that, you know, you can activate with water. So let me know if that's something you guys would like to see, and maybe we can do that too. I've got a couple of other crochet projects I need to finish, and so I'm not going to have a gazillion coloring pages this month like I did last month. So anyway, okay guys, so let me know what you guys think about those supervision watercolors, you know, and if you think you might pick them up. I'll reach out to the marketer, I think her name is Tiffany, and see if she can get me that code so I can put it in the description. I won't post the video until it's there, or if it's different, I'll have to notate in the comments why the discount is different. But she did say 40%, so that would be great. But yeah, if you have any questions, reach out to me. I'll leave my email in the description also. Okay? All right, guys. Love you. See you soon. Talk to you soon. Happy Memorial Day. Okay. Bye for now.